Watch. Kathy Hochul sticks foot in mouth during presser on Texas redistricting drama. Democrats are some of the biggest hypocrites on the planet. I mean, they were for redistricting just a few years ago. They sued for redistricting. They created laws for redistricting and stuff like that. But now that redistricting is happening to not work in their favor, they're calling it, they're saying that Republicans are tampering and trying to set up the election and all these other things that Democrats are saying, but they are the main ones that redistrict again. But now that it's not working in their favor, they're upset about it and they want to put an end to it, which is just crazy. So we're going to talk a little bit about it. We're going to show the hypocrisy. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button, share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. It has a link to my Patreon. That's where I talk about things that I can't talk about here. There's also a link to my Instagram and my X account, so follow me there as well. All right, so let's get into this news. Now, this comes from Red State, and they report that Democrats are nothing if not a predictable bunch. And that's exactly what happened in the aftermath of Texas Republicans unveiling a proposed congressional map that potentially would give more GOP representation in the U.S. House, but which still doesn't go far as the notorious gerrymanders we've seen in blue states like Illinois. Again, it's wrong. It's okay for them to do it, but when Republicans do it, oh, it's wrong. And they're trying to what do they say? They're trying to what's the word they use? I can't remember the word they use. But anyway, in response, dozens of Texas state lawmakers fled the Lone State on Sunday in an effort to try and deny a quorum during the special session Governor Greg Abbott called. Again, the Democrat Party is some of the most undemocratic people in the country. So they're going to flee so they don't vote. But they call themselves the Democratic Party, where you're supposed to be able to vote for things, right? Make that make sense. Hilariously, to prove a point, democracy being at stake, they flew to Illinois and New York, two states where Democrats have taken gerrymandering to an art form over the years to not only preserve, but also expand the number of Democrats from their respective states in Congress. As we reported earlier, New York Governor Kathy Hochul held a presser Monday in a show of solidarity with the Texas Democrats who've traveled to the Empire State. She said, quote, "We won't sit on the sidelines while Republicans try to rig the system." That's the word. I could not think of it for some reason. I could not think of the word rig. That's what they keep saying. They're rigging the 2026 election. They're rigging the system. Rigged the system to give Donald Trump more unchecked power, Hochul proclaimed. Cool. She goes on to say, Texas Democrats are standing up for the future of our democracy, and I'm proud to stand with them Texas Democrats are standing up for the future of our democracy, and I'm proud to stand with them in the fight against disenfranchisement. Hochul said a few other things that raised some eyebrows as well, telling a reporter that she wouldn't be opposed to disbanding an independent redistricting commission previously approved by voters in 2014 because she was allegedly, quote, tired of fighting this fight with my hand tied behind my back. And Democrats, they wanted this though in 2014. Again, now, like I said before, now that it's not working out in their favor, they're against it. She said, for one, the Empire State uses a redistricting commission to draw its maps, though they are subject to state legislature's approval. A second issue is that any amendment to the state's constitution requires it to be passed in 2 consecutive sessions before going before voters, meaning New York Democrats wouldn't be able to change their maps in time for the 2026 cycle. Hochul acknowledged those constraints, saying, quote, "It is not the timeline that I would have preferred. We're going to also look at litigation strategies," Hochul said. This is their law, though. Democrats wanted this. We're in close conversations about options there. And so I would say this, we're considering all options right now. Now, in 2014, New York voted in favor of a constitutional amendment to have a bipartisan commission redraw congressional districts. Kathy Hochul now wants to get rid of it in response to Texas because democracy is very important to her or something. Right? Oh, I didn't know we had a video of her talking about it. I thought this video was from 2014. Hold on, let's see what she says.
You know, last decade, we redid redistricting. Hard to say. Do you think, given this situation where we've had these court battles, everything, that in this 2027 amendment that you may put forward, that the Independent Redistricting Commission should be disbanded or changed in some way so that you don't have to go through that again in 32?
Diabolical.
Yes. I'm tired of fighting this fight with my hand tied behind my back. With all due respect to the good government groups, politics is a political process. And to think that we're going to do this with a purity test and make sure it's completely fair to everybody involved. The reason we are able to draw the lines because we're Democrats, because the majority of people in this state selected us, elected us to be leaders. And when we say that we cannot use that power to its fullest, then we're abdicating the responsibility that we all have.
Wow.
Republicans take over the legislature, they can have at it. But until then, we're in charge, and we're sick and tired of being pushed around when other.
So wouldn't that be the same for Texas? Texas Republicans hold the House. So wouldn't they be able to say the same thing, make the same statement that you made about New York, right? See, but it's not in their favor. This is why she's against redistricting for Texas.
Other states don't have the same aspirations that we always have had, and I hold those dear. But I cannot ignore that the playing field has changed dramatically. And shame on us if we ignore that fact and cling tight to the vestiges of the past. That era is over. Donald Trump eliminated that for.
Oh, so that era is over now. So we were for it in 2014, but now that's over because it's not in our favor, basically, is what she's saying there. They're not fooling anyone. John Pahorts, he said, for Kathy Hochul to bring up redistricting as an injustice in New York State, where a preposterous redistricting plan was rejected in its entirety during her governorship 3 years ago by a liberal court, is another mark of what an embarrassment she is. That's right. Someone else said, Democrats keep shaking their fists and shrieking, you'll rue the day the shoe's on the other foot, without realizing this, it's the shoe being on the other foot. Everything Republicans are doing, Democrats already did. Facts. And here it is right here. He's showing the New York Times where it said Democrats have few tools to counter GOP redistricting. Enough said, right? They created these rules. Now they don't want to live with these rules and these laws that they created. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this. Leave y'all comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe, and check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.